Welcome back to the Garza Gaming Channel. Today we're going to talk about the 10.10 bonus update that just got released probably about 13 hours ago. Now this update actually came as a little bit of a surprise to me, so it caught me off guard. But yeah, we're going to talk about all the changes that's in this bonus update. Now there's not a lot, but there is a little that's probably going to ruffle a few feathers. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so let's get into this. Like I said, there's not a lot of changes, but there are some that are expected and some that weren't so expected, right? Okay, so we're going to get one new skin, which is going to be that new Mulan skin. But here we go with the recipes, right? So this is going to be the cooldown recipe. The Bountiful Bio. So what they ended up doing is they decreased the cooldown reduction that you get from this from 1.5 seconds to 1 second. And this is the one that reduces the cooldown on the first ability that you use, right? Once you actually have this item. And then Compassion to decrease the mitigations on this one, or the passive mitigation, from 15% to 12%. Flame Forge Hammer. They increase the damage taken debuff from enemies from 10% to 15%. I guess a lot of people haven't been using this item, so they're trying to make it more enticing, I guess, by adding the extra 5% damage debuff when you use this item, right? So here we go with the gods. And Ares is the first one on the chopping block here. What they ended up doing is actually kind of reverting his shackles on the cooldown on this, right? Not too long ago, they actually ended up buffing it, but I guess he got too OP over too quick, right? So they went ahead and kind of reverted it. So what they ended up doing is they increased the cooldown of his shackles from 13 seconds across the board to start off at 15 seconds, and then it scales down back to 13 seconds. So it goes 15 seconds, 14.5, 14, 13.5, and then 13 seconds late game. Now, his Searing Flesh to decrease the max health damage against minions from 5% to 4%. Athena. So Athena's Defenders of Olympus, right? So they decrease the base damage on this one from 350, 430, 510, 590, and 670 to 340, 314, 390, 565, and 640. So late game, you're losing 30 damage on this attack, and then to decrease the damage mitigations that you get from it from 35% to 30%. So yeah, that's a kind of a little bit of a nerf for her ult there. Now Chernobog, right? And which is funny because not too many people are playing Chernobog in Arena of late. But in the last two streams, I did see him come up more and more. So I don't know, that's kind of weird, right? So Crystallized Curse, it decreases slow on this one from 25% to 20%. And then his Living Nightmare, his ult, right? Did decrease the clone slow from 4% to 3% per stack. And decrease the movement speed buff from 25% to 20%. So, you know, kind of a little bit of a nerf for Chernobog there. And then Freya, right? So Valkyrie's Discretion. So on this one, they increased the cooldown from 90 seconds to 100 seconds, and they increased her cooldown by 10 seconds. Now, this is the one I saw coming. As y'all know, every time we get a new god, man, they make them super OP out of the gate. So, you know, people start cashing in on those ultimate god packs. But once they start dying off in use, then they come in with those heavy nerfs, right? So this is going to be the first line of heavy nerfs that we're going to see for Mamans Brigette, right? And the first one is going to be our Soul Spike. So the Soul Spikes decrease the damage cap from 70% to 60% of the target's missing health. Her Party Trick, they decrease the damage per tick on this one from 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40 to 6, 14, 22, 30, and 38. So they decrease it by 2 damage per tick across the board on this one. Now, her Spirit Seas, they decrease the initial hit on this one, scaling from 20% to 15%. So I think this is the first line of debuffs or nerfs, I should say, for Mamans Brigette, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see more coming in the next couple future updates, because she is pretty OP, dude. Now, here we go with Oleron, right? Oleron's another one that we really don't see much in Arena, but his Overflowing Divinity decreased the base damage on this one from 70, 85, 100, 115, and 130 to 50, 70, 90, 110, and 130. So they pretty much give him a pretty heavy nerf early game, but it pretty much finishes out the same late game at 130. I personally think that Oleron did not need to be touched. To tell you the truth, one, hardly nobody plays him, but if they keep on nerfing this guy, nobody's really going to want to play him, right? I mean, it is what it is. So Pele's been actually pretty strong of late. I've seen a lot of Pele's in Arena. Sir Pyroclast, it decreased the damage scaling from 70% to 60%, so they took away 10% damage scaling on that, and then they increased the cooldown from 14 seconds to 15 seconds, which is a really, really long cooldown for an ability, to tell you the truth. Now, her volcanic lightning, right? They increased the basic attack damage reduction from 40% to 50%. So, I mean, it is what it is. Susano, another one that you see all the time in Arena, right? So his Gathering of Storm, they increased the damage scaling from 40% to 30%. That's a very heavy nerf right there, 10% on that ability. And his Typhoon, they increased the cooldown from 90 seconds to 100 seconds. So it's going to take 10 seconds longer to get that Typhoon off cooldown. And that's pretty much all the bonus update for 10.10. Like I said, this came out yesterday on Monday, right? And it came out pretty late in the game, so I missed it. But there are some changes in here that I wanted y'all to see, especially for today's stream. But hey, man, that's all we got for the 10.10 bonus update. So what do you think about these nerfs or buffs, right? Put it down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your feedback. And how are you enjoying Mamans, you know, the new god? Do you like her? You don't like it? Hey, put your comments in down below. I'd love to hear your feedback on her. I personally have not gotten a chance to really play her much, but I do plan on taking some time and actually trying to get to know her a little bit better, right? Again, don't forget, we're now streaming every Tuesday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is pretty much today. If you're watching this video on Tuesday, the day is published. And we've now taken up a second stream day on Sundays at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time in the morning. So all of our Reapers that work throughout the week or go to school throughout the week can now join us from some fun Reaper action every Sunday at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time in the morning right here on YouTube, right? Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm Garza, your OG on the GC. We'll see you next time.